So before we can create the CRUD functionality, we need to create the Django application itself. So we will start creating a Django project and a Django app inside that project. And we will create a basic startup page like this, just saying company page, hello, welcome to the company page, and then we will have a button or a hyperlink here where you can go to the customers, and then we will start creating the CRUD functionality step by step. But first we need to create a Django project and a Django app from scratch. So in order to create a Django project and an application in Django, we need to follow these steps. Step number 1 is to create and activate a virtual Python environment. Step number 2 is to install Django itself. Then we just use this pip command, which is part of Python. Then we need to create a Django project using this command. And then we need to specify a name of our project. And then we can run the Django project to make sure that everything works as expected. And then finally, we can create the Django app itself. And a Django app, you can create multiple Django apps in a Django project. But we will do this step by step. So we start by creating and activating a virtual Python environment. So before I start creating this virtual Python environment, I just created an empty folder here on my C drive, C web. Of course, you can create the folder wherever you like on your hard drive or call it whatever you like. I just created this folder called web, where inside here I will create this virtual Python environment and then later install or create a Django project and a Django app. Then you just go to the command prompt in Windows. You could also use this terminal or Windows PowerShell, so you can use either this one or this command prompt. I just choose to use this one. And the first step then is to go to this folder. Then I just type cd/ to go to the root folder and then cd web in my case. So now I'm inside this folder, and here we will create this virtual Python environment, typing this command. Then Python mvn, which is a command for creating a virtual environment in Python, and then the name of this virtual environment. I'm going to just call it Django environment or something. So this is the name of the virtual environment that you are going to create. Here you can specify whatever you like, and then click or hit enter, and then after a few seconds this virtual Python environment will be created for us. So now you see we're back here, and then you can see here in our web folder that this folder has been created, and this is the name that we specified, Django environment. And if you open this one, you see here we have under lib we have different libraries that is part of the virtual Python environment. So far only this pip is installed, but here you can create any type of Python packages. Also here include, we have different, so far no file here. And under scripts there are different scripts here like this python.exe, pip.exe, etc. So the next step is to activate this Python environment, and then you see we have this activate.bat that we are going to use. So we use it here from the command prompt. So then we just need to go to that specific folder, then we type cd Django environment, which is the name of the environment, and then cd scripts, and then we can just type activate.bat in order to activate the virtual Python environment. And now you see that the environment is activated by, you see the name of the environment here in parentheses before the command. This means that the environment is now activated, and then we can start installing Django and creating a Django project, etc. So the next step is to install Django. Then you go back to the folder for the environment. Then you can just type Python And then we use the pip command to install Django like this. Then the name of the package is just called Django. We click enter in order to install the Django Python package. It takes typically some time to install it. So now the Django package should be installed, and then we can go here. You see that this Django Admin exe has been installed here in the scripts. Also this one has been installed. If you go back to the lib folder, you also see that the Django has been installed here in the library folder in our virtual Python environment. So now Django is installed. We can now run the project by typing python manage.py, and also you see this manage.py is here in the scripts folder. We have this okay, I was a bit fast here. First we need to create the Django. So now we have installed Django. Next we need to create the Django project itself. So then we can use, as mentioned, this in the script here, this Django admin.exe in order to create Django project itself. So then we just type Django admin, and then we use the command start project in order to actually create the project. So that's a bit confusing name. So start project is the command for creating a Django project. And then we need to specify name for our project. We can call it Django project 1 or whatever. So that's the name of the Django project. You can specify whatever you like. Typically you need to use a descriptive name. Then you just hit enter, and this Django project has been created for us. So then you can go back to the virtual environment folder, and then you see this Django project 1 has been created with a subfolder which is also called Django project 1. Here we have different Python files that is part of the Django project. So now we can run and make sure that this Django project is up and running. So then you just go to the folder for the project, Django project 1 like this, and now we can type this Python command, python manage.py, and this manage.py, you see it here, is this file. So we use this one in order to execute a command called run server in order to run the Django project. It takes a couple of seconds in order to start the web server and make sure that everything is up and running. And as you see here, this Django project is now up and running on this location. So I can just go to my web browser and just start entering this URL 127.0.0.1.800 like this, and then hit enter, and then this is the startup page for our Django project. And then you get a page like this. It's an indication that you have installed Django properly, and then you have created your first Django project. So the next step now is to create a Django app inside that Django project. So in order to create a Django app inside that project, I just need to stop the development server here. And then you see here, you just need to click Control break or Control C in order to stop the web server itself. And now we can create the Django application. In order to create the Django application, we use this command, python manage.py, which is this file we have here. And then we just use this command in order to create a Django app, start app. So we use the command start app in order to create the Django app itself. And then we need to specify a name for our Django application. In our case, we will call it company. Of course, you can call it whatever you like this. So that should be all. And then you see it has been created a folder here called company inside our Django project. And when I click on it, you see different files has been created for us that we will use later when we are going to create the CRUD functionality. So we have here in models.py we are going to create our Django models, and here in views.py we are going to create the different views that is part of our CRUD application. So far we have created the Django project and the Django app itself. Now we need to start creating the basic functionality for that app. And as mentioned, we are going to create this startup page that just says it's a company page. Hello, welcome to the company page. And then after that, we will create the CRUD functionality step by step. But let's create this startup page or home page of our application. So now we are ready to actually start creating some code, and then when we are going to create code, we can use this Visual Studio Code, which is the preferred code editor for our Django application. And then basically we will just go to File, Open Folder, then select our folder, which was this web and our Django environment and our Django project, which we find here. So I just select this folder where we have created our Django project. Then I click select folder, and here we get all the files for our Django project and our company application like this. The first thing we want to create is a so-called template, and a template in Django is basically just an HTML file. So then in the company application we need to create a new folder, and we can call it templates, and inside that folder we are going to create all our templates. You see also the folder has been created here, these templates, and so far it's empty. So let's create our first template, and I can just right click here on templates, create a new file, and then we can call it company.html or something, and this should be the startup page or the home page for our company application. So far it's empty, but let's just create a basic HTML file, something like this, with a body. Of course you can also have a head section like this, and here we could have a title. We call it company app like this. Then inside the body we can create a header one like this, and here we can say company home page or something, and then just use the paragraph to create some welcome message. Hello, welcome to our company or something. So that would be our startup page, and that information is created as a template, as we call it in Django. A template is basically just an HTML page like this. So now we have created the necessary template. The next step is to create a so-called view, and then we just go to this file called views.py, and inside that Python file we are going to create all our views in our Django application. So here, create your views here. So then I just start creating a view. I can call it, since this is a company app, so then I just call it definition. So basically a view in Python is just Python function or a Python method. So then we use this def command in order to create a Python method. So I will just call it company in our case. And in all views you need to have an input argument for the HTTP request like this, and then a colon, and then we can start creating the view itself. Just a spelling mistake here. Company. So then we basically need to specify our template. So then I just call it template equals to, then we use a built-in command or in Django called loader dot get template, and the name of the template in our case it's just company.html, which is this template we have created here, company.html. That's the template. Next we need to have a return an HTTP response, so then we just use the return this built-in command or object called HTTP response. So here, so you see there is some warning here, so we need to include some Django libraries here on top. So then from Django dot HTTP needs to be included, import HTTP response like this. And also, since we are using this loader, you get also a warning here, so I need to also include that one. From Django dot template import loader like this. Now we have the necessary libraries imported, and then you see we get no warnings here. Then we need to finish return HTTP response, and then we just need to specify this template and dot render like this. So basically that's all you need to do. So now we have created our first view. It's called company. It has an input HTTP request. We will not use that in the beginning. And then it returns an HTTP response. And in our case, it just returns this company.html file that we have created here. So the next step is to make sure that this view is accessible for the end user of your application. So then we need to go into a file called, let me see, urls.py, which we have here. Well, it's not there, so we need to create it. So then just go to the company folder, create a new file, call it urls.py like this. No, so far it's empty, but we need to import some libraries. So from Django.urls import path, and next we need to also import from dot import views. Then we need to create an URL patterns like this, URL patterns equals to, and then path, and here we need to specify the path to our company app. So then company company, comma, and then we need to use this use dot company like this, view use dot company, and then we need to specify a name, and in our case it's just company like this. So that should be it. So that's in the file called urls.py. We needed to create it, and it should be stored in the company app folder. In addition, we also have an URLs here in our project folder. So this is just some comments, just remove them. Also here we need to add our application. Here this URL patterns is already created for us. So here I just type another path to include our company application. Just like this, use this include command and the name company.urls like this. So that should be all. Yeah, so it gives a warning here. This include is don't find this include, so you just need to also import it. So then comma include like this. So now you see the warning is gone, and now it should be good to go. Just save these files. So now there are only one more thing that we need to update in order to make sure that our application is working. So here we need to go into settings.py, and here we find installed apps, and here you don't see this company app, so you just need to include it, company like this. So now we started to create a template called company.html in this templates folder. Then we created a view called company that has a request as an input and a response as a return value, and it basically just return this file called company.html. Then we needed to create a file called urls.py in the company app folder, where we specified an URL patterns like this. And also we needed to update the existing urls.py in the Django project folder, where we specified our company here. Finally, we needed to also update the settings.py with the name of our application in the installed apps part here. So now we should be ready to run our company application. So then I can either run the application here, or I can also run it here in the built-in terminal, which is part of Visual Studio Code. So here we have the terminal, new terminal, and then it appears here in the bottom. And then basically you can type here Python manage.py and then run server in order to run our Django project like this. Yeah, I got some error here. I just need to add a comma here also in this urls.py in the Django project. Also make sure that I activate the virtual environment. So I just also make sure to go to the correct folder. Here. Just need to select the proper Python interpreter for our Django environment like this. So now we can try to run the project. So Python manage.py run server like this. Still get some error here. So let's see. So it was a stupid spelling mistake here. URL pattern and N is missing. I just save it. Also see here URL patterns like this. So now I just go here to run the project Python manage.py run server. Now you see our server is up and running. We go to our web page. This is the startup page. Now I can just, as stated here in the urls.py, we can type company here after the root URL. So then here I just specify /company, and then you see we get access to the home page of our company application. What is presented here is basically what we created in company.html. So it has a title page, company app, which is specified here in the title, and in the header, company homepage, which is here. And here we have just a paragraph, welcome to our company. Of course, there's a spelling mistake here also, company. And I just click save here now and refresh. It is automatically updated. So that's the startup page of our company application. So in the next parts of this tutorial, we're going to create the CRUD functionality, create, read, update, and delete data from our database, which is our case, should be an SQLite database, and that database is part of the Django installation.